Hey everybody, I'm Z Garcia and welcome back to Best of the Month, where a few of us are going to tell you about some favorite new to us games that we've discovered and got to play and why we like them so much. So I'm going to kick it off myself. It was kind of a slow month as far as good games go, and so the main thing for me that rose above everything else was an expansion, which is what I'm highlighting here. And that is the latest expansion to Istanbul called Letters and Seals. Now this one's going to give you in Istanbul, it's going to give you new locations that add a lot of interaction. I like that a lot. There's a new place that has sort of a mini draft action. There's a new place where you do an auction. And besides that, you have these letters that you can go at one of the new tiles as well and collect. And then if one of your characters is at the corresponding place, you've delivered that letter and you get a little bonus for it. And I like that a lot because it gives you new things to think about. It sort of pushes you from breaking your little strategy of jumping back and forth over 2 or 3 tiles and just getting a very small engine going, and it forces you to think outside of that. It doesn't force you, that's the thing. It encourages you. You can get away with ignoring what's in here, and that's sort of the expansions I like, the ones that give you more good stuff, but they don't bend the game experience you already know and enjoy to suit this new play style. And so Letters and Seals I thought was really, really clever, very interesting. I have not played the previous expansion to this, but now I'm really looking forward to it. So there you go. That is my Best of the Month.
Hey folks, welcome back to another Best of the Month. This month, or last month rather, I'm just going to stick with tradition. It's my shtick. I've got 2 games that were my Best of the Month, an old one and a new one. My old best game of the month last month was Deception Murder in Hong Kong. I played my first 12-player game of this at Recon in Ohio a couple of weeks ago, and it left a huge impression on me. I loved this. I love this game, and the more players you have with it, the better it gets, the more fun it gets. So that's my old best game of the month, Deception Murder in Hong Kong. And then my new game of the month is a game called Guilds, put out by Strata Libre and Giochi Uniti, I believe is the name of it. And it is a bidding game, auctioning game that also has a set collection aspect to it. You're just trying to get the most points by the end of the game, but it also has a tile placement thing where you're building up your guild hall and putting different rooms in it and everything like that. And you can score points and combos and all this other kind of stuff. It's a really neat game. The high points for me were, first of all, the artwork was great. I didn't like all of it, but generally speaking, the artwork was very good, very captivating. But I also really enjoyed the auctioning mechanic that is employed. It has a slight twist on it that's just a little bit different. You have to bid on 2 different areas most of the time, and that becomes very crunchy as far as keeping track of your finances and not running out of money and all this other kind of stuff. So I really enjoyed it a lot, had a great time with it. So those are my 2 best of the months. Deception Murder in Hong Kong for the old, Guilds for the new. See you on the flip side.
Hi, this is Ambi from Board Game Blitz, and my best of the month was Dinosaur Island, which is basically the type of game I really love. There's a lot of planning to get what you want, and it's very thematic. The theme is you're building a dinosaur park for visitors and trying to get a lot of visitors to get points. But it's a lot of fun planning to get the DNA, to build the dinosaurs, and getting enough security so that your visitors don't get eaten by the dinosaurs. I also play the deluxe version, which is really cute with little different dinosaur meeples, but I'm sure the regular version of Dinosaur Island is just as fun.
Hey folks, best of the month for me, and for me, I didn't get to play as many games last month as I wanted to, but there was one game that blew my mind the second I played it, and I was in love with it, and unfortunately, it's not a game that's out yet, it's a game that's on Kickstarter, and that is Kami-sama. Now, I'm fortunate to have a copy, so I decided I could include it. This game has everything from area control to take that, to asymmetric powers, to just this beautiful artwork, and it blew me away the second I played it, so that's going to be my pick, and I look forward to seeing you folks next month.
Hey folks, Mark here. Welcome to Best of the Month. You know, these days I'm playing a ton of prototypes, do the Dice Tower previews, and if I'm going to recommend one of those, you got to check out The Reckoners. It's so good. Okay, my pick of the month, though, is The Awakening Lair from Rather Dashing Games. This game is a cooperative dungeon crawl, but it's card-based, and you're moving through the dungeon trying to defeat the monstrous evil and all his minions. The monstrous terror lives at the top of the dungeon. You have to make your way through the rooms and collectively figure out the best way to do that using your special abilities and icons and defeating creatures along the way. You have to stop him from getting out of the dungeon. And as he moves down the track of rooms, he is going to drag everyone with him along with the creatures. So you've got to get to him early and stop him before he leaves. I can't recommend this one enough. I've had a blast. This game is fantastic. 2 to 6 players, cooperative play. All right, folks, that's my pick this month from Rather Dashing Games. And until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Hey everybody, Jay Peak from Peak Your Interest. The best game for me for February is definitely DC deck building game, Teen Titans Go expansion from Cryptozoic. Now this one's going to add a few things that I thought were really awesome. It's going to add sidekicks. So whatever heroes you're not using are going to get flipped over to their sidekick side, and they're going to be able to be recruited to your team. If you fulfill a specific request, you can then recruit them to your team for the rest of the game. Until your opponent does the same fulfillment, then they take it on their team, so they're going to be going back and forth the whole game. Really awesome mechanic. Some more things added are going to be vulnerabilities will remove weaknesses from your discard pile. Kicks have a defense added to them. And weaknesses are going to have negative effects throughout the game. They're not going to give you the negative points at the end, but they're going to really affect you negatively throughout the game. Great card synergies in this one. Great player interactions in this one. 100% must have for anybody who likes DC Deck Builder, and a 100% must try for anybody who typically doesn't like DC Deck Builder, because this 1v1 expansion really improves the whole game quite a bit.
Hello, and my pick for the month of February is Breaking Bad, the board game, published by Edge Entertainment. Now this is based off of the hit TV show by the same name, which I am a super fan of. So that's why I was really excited when they announced that they were going to make a game based on the show. But the game is a little bit outdated, and some gamers don't really like the design. But who cares, because it's Breaking Bad! Well, my pick for the month of February is Breaking Bad, the board game. Check it out.
Hey, my best of the month is Awkward Guests, which is the English title of this Spanish deduction game. This game is fantastic. It is a game in which you are trying to figure out who murdered someone, what weapon they used, and what their motive was, which sounds a lot like Clue, but there's a lot more involved in this, a lot of spatial stuff in it. It's going to be a hard game to find, so I almost feel a little bit bad about telling you guys about this one, but it was my favorite game I played last month, easily. Gave it a 9.5, which is pretty high for me. My favorite deduction game I've ever played. If you come across a copy, or if a company reprints it someday, then I would recommend getting it. That is Awkward Guests.
It's Roy Kennedy from Epic Gaming Night, and my best of the month is Lords of Hellas. This is a Greek mythology, like technological area control game, where there's 3 different ways to win the game. You can either try to take over like areas and get 2 like basic continents and be able to win the game that way, or you're building up these different like god statue things with your priests going in there. When you end your like round, they're building up, and if they get built all the way up and you control them for 3 turns, then you can win the game that way as well. And you can also fight off different monsters during the game. If you fight off 3 monsters, then you win the game that way. So it's interesting how you can win the game not through just like building up troops and amassing forces, but you can also like try to build up your heroes and run around and be able to take out monsters as well. So it's super interesting. I love the miniatures in this game and the way the game looks out on the board with all the different crazy looking monsters and all the technological weird looking Greek mythology stuff. So my best of the month is Lords of Hellas.
My game of the month, Gloomhaven. I just love Gloomhaven. I love the card system and how you get all the initiative and how you have to really watch how you use the cards on your hand. Because you could very easily, spend all your attack or your range attack and run out of card. And I remember that our party died one of the time because we were so focused on kill, kill, kill in the beginning. And, well, we got killed. Gloomhaven has about 1 million pieces. I mean, you can never put everything back into the boxes. But that, it's kind of the charm of the game. You can make so many scenarios. You can play for pretty much a whole year, retire characters, get new characters, and never really get tired of the game. The book and the scenarios are really well written. I don't want to spoil anything here, but it's just an amazing, amazing game. And that, and many other reasons, is why my game of the month is Gloomhaven.
Howdy folks, I'm Hunter Thomason from the Family Showdown, and my game of the month is Anachrony. Anachrony is an awesome worker placement game which has an interesting time travel mechanism where you borrow things from the future, but when you get to that future you have to send those things back in time to complete the transaction, or you get paradoxes and anomalies. A really fun worker placement game with a sci-fi, futuristic, post-apocalyptic type theme. And Rebecca, who's not here right now, game of the month is Gaia Project, a space-themed game based on the Terra Mystica mechanisms, which focuses in more on the technology. You have all these technology upgrades to help you do all the things, upgrade your buildings, you spread out and conquer planets and do all kinds of amazing things. So Rebecca's game of the month is Gaia Project.
Hi everyone, now this might be a little late to the table, but the best new to me game in February 2018 has to have been Terraforming Mars. Now, forget its problems that people have said. Production quality. The board is great. The cubes, gold, silver, bronze, player colours, amazing. Yeah, there's the card art, it's not continuous sort of art style throughout them, but there's 200 in-theme cards. You crash asteroids into the planet's surface, you're going to build giant space mirrors, all to sort of upgrade your engine and to complete parameters such as oxygen, temperature and oceans on the planet's surface. The board will develop and grow, and each corporation will do things a little bit differently. And that's why it's just been great fun to get in that bubble and make Mars habitable. So if you haven't already, check out Terraforming Mars. That's my best game of the month. And I'm Oliver East, signing out.
I'm Jason Peacock. This has been one of the greatest months ever. I've got to talk about two games really quickly because both of these games are in my top 10 of all time. Mythic Battles Pantheon. Now, I did a full review for this. You can check it out, so I won't spend too much time talking about it. But the greatest skirmish game that I have ever played. And then, Blood Rage is my favorite game, and I played Rising Sun a few times already, and I think I might like this more. Rising Sun blew me away. It's got the simplest, cleanest set of rules with the most amount of stuff going on and some of the most interesting decisions I've ever seen in a game. This one is a game I'm thinking about after it's over, and I'm getting excited for the next one. Man, Eric Lang knocked it out of the park. So Rising Sun, the greatest dudes on a map game that I've played, and Mythic Battles Pantheon, the greatest skirmish game I've played. So that's my picks for the month. I'll see you next time.
And that's going to do it for all of us here. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you found at least one new game that maybe you hadn't heard about, and now you can look into a little bit more. Hey, it might even become one of your new favorite games. So, once again, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next month for a whole crop of new games we're discovering and enjoying as of right now. We'll see you then.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Games. Cool stuff and stuff. I'm Eric Summer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.